Hello and welcome to Teatro's August 2018 board meeting. Let's pull back the curtain and get started. Wow, that was a fun transition. So once again, I just want to reintroduce you to Teatro's board meeting. It's currently August 2018. Crazy Rich Asians was just released in theaters, and it's a great time to be alive for some people. Now, my name is Austin Kunis, and I'm the new executive director here at Teatro. Now, before we move forward, I want to kind of give you a little insight into my mindset looking in this analysis of Teatro. So, before I was the executive director of Teatro, and even before I was a student at University of Denver, I was a technical director for a small nonprofit theater company. Now, in this theater company, we always had a steady stream of revenue coming in from our facility rentals. However, this steady stream of income almost made the theater and the artistic staff lose sight of the theater's mission, because it became a sense of we're getting money in anyways, so we need to focus on the audience because they don't matter that much. And to me, that's something I highly disagreed with. Unfortunately, at that time, I wasn't at the level where I could really speak my voice and share what I felt was the importance of audience, interaction, connection, and establishing a strong relationship with them. So I thought about all those factors going in to this presentation, and hopefully you'll be able to pick up on the influence of that in some of my observations. Now, before we get started with the rest of the presentation, I think I actually have a photo of my new office, my new fancy executive office. There it is. Wow. Look at me, a fancy executive director. Those people at Teatro, y'all really know how to treat me well. Anyways, let's get started. So we're going to start by looking at Teatro's finances, and both the positive financial factors and the negative financial factors. But we're going to start on a good start and look at the positive. So first we're going to look at our contributions and grants. Now our contributed earned revenue has grown each year since 2013. If you look at this chart here, you can see between 2013 and 2015, those fiscal years, that amount kind of fluctuated in the same range. However, come the 2016 and 2017 fiscal years, that amount started to go up, up, up. So if this trend continues, we're going to have upward growth, and that will continue our strength in establishing a strong annual contribution and grants. Now we're going to look at our total expenses compared with our net revenue. Now our total expenses have grown each year since 2013. As you can see in 2013, that fiscal year, our total expenses were around $545,000. However, in our 2017 fiscal year, that expense is almost at $700,000. Now, with that raise, we have to ask ourselves, are these increases in expenses the responsible financial choice for Teatro? Are these expenses growing because we're expanding our program? Or is it more of a, holy cow, we don't know what to do, let's throw more money at it? Well, fortunately, this is a responsible choice, because when we compare it to our net revenue, we can see as the expenses grow, so do our revenue. Now, in 2013, that net revenue wasn't very good because of some poor investment incomes, but you could see in fiscal year 2017 how much that has grown. So yes, this is a responsible choice, and both of these are playing together to increase. Like our contributions and grants, the hope is that these are trends that are being established to lead to more successful growth as the theater continues to grow and develop and produce. But here comes a time where we gotta talk about the not so pretty things. One of these is our program service revenue. Now, between 2013 and 2017, the program service revenue has fluctuated quite a bit. So, if you look at this, you could say, oh, if we keep going like we did in 2016 into 2017, we're on the right track. However, if you look at our 2015 to 2016 program service revenue, that's not what we want to be seeing. And you could say, yes, that between 2016 and 17 that revenue did grow, but there's no promise that it's going to continue to grow. And as the executive director, I don't want to see drops like that in our programming. I want to make sure that we're always going up and we're selling more tickets to get people into the space to see our work. Now that ties in directly to the next thing we're about to talk about. Admission sales. So, as a theater, there's something we definitely don't want to see, and that's a decline in ticket sales. If you look here, between 2014 and 2017, we did have a bump in 2015, but overall, we've gone down quite a bit, just a little bit over $20,000. And as we could see, 2016 was not the best year for programming. That was the same year that our program service revenue dropped down, and it's also the same year that our ticket sales dropped down. And now it's very common in theater to people say, oh, we can't rely on ticket sales, and that tickets don't make up the majority of our revenue. But at the end of the day, we still are a theater. So although we do have huge contributions and grants coming in, we shouldn't look past our ticket sales, because the contributions and grants are coming from organizations and government funding. But these admissions are the people. These are the people that are coming into the door to see our work and potentially get involved with the theater, whether it's becoming donors, board members, performers, carpenters, whatever it is. These are the first step in getting people in the door. So now we're going to look at show specifics. And we're going to take a look at The Revolutionists by Lauren Gunderson. True story, Lauren Gunderson is currently working on a show with my former boss's ex-boyfriend. So you could say I know her pretty well. And what I also know pretty well is the box office basics. So for this show, we had a 3-week run with 11 performances. We sold 615 tickets, and our gross box office revenue was $7,477.10. So if we break that down and looking how many tickets were sold, our average ticket price for The Revolutionists was $12.11. So let's take a look at our normal average ticket price that we sell online. And that's $20. So our average ticket price was almost half of what we sell our tickets for online. However, one thing I do want to point out is our gross concession revenue was $3,454.75, which shows that our patrons love snacks. So now we're going to look at capacity sold for The Revolutionists. So our main stage seats 250 patrons. So now if you look at this chart here, you can see the breakdown of the percentage of house sold per performance. And yikes, this is not the best. As you could see, the majority of performances were in the 10 to 20% range. Now we do see one big spike at 60%. However, looking deeper at that event, that was June 18th, which was a Monday night. Perhaps this was an industry night. Now in my experience, industry nights were always performed on the first Monday after an opening, which is what we see here. Now on these nights, ticket prices are normally cheaper or offered at a reduced rate. And also, these are the nights where all the friends and family of performers come. So you have cheaper tickets, people familiar with the performers, so it's not really reflective of all the other nights that we have. So I'm going to kind of discredit that night. The only other night where we see a major spike is on the closing performance. Now, this is another event where people are always rushing to get their last minute tickets. So honestly, I don't think that night's reflective either. So now we're going to look at our gross per capita revenue. So over that entire run, we had 615 patrons. Our admissions were $7,447.10. Our concessions were $3,454.75. Our tips were at $395.76. Tienda was at $561. Donations was at $732. and our grand total came out to be $12,590. So, breaking that all down for all the individual patrons that came to our event, our gross per capita revenue is $20.47 per capita. Now, this is not too good because $20, as we saw before, is the average price of our tickets sold online. So we're only making about 47 cents more than an average ticket price. And even that's not true because we have ticket fees. So we're not even making all that $20. So for me, this gross per capita revenue is not very good. So now overall, how did the revolutionists do? Our average ticket price was $12.11. Our average house capacity was 22%. And our per capita revenue was $20.47. Now, I don't know if I can reflect on how the show did, but the star, Marie Antoinette, can, I believe. There she is, and oh, she has a message for us. The revolutionist was not revolutionary for Su Teatro. We could have performed much better at this performance. So how should we proceed forward to further the success of our shows? So there are a few different KPIs I want to look at that if we monitor and track, we could find out ways to grow as an organization and find out ways to make our performances better and better. So the first thing we're going to look at is our KPI of ticket revenue. Now take a look at this chart here. More importantly, look at these percent changes between our 2016 and 2017 fiscal year. All of these ticket options have had a negative change. Now, as I mentioned before in my experience with my previous theaters, we get into the mindset of we can't rely on ticket sales. And that's true, but we can't lose the importance of who's buying these tickets. So if we see our percent changes going down, it's why. Are people getting discounted tickets? Or are we selling less tickets? Are people finding coupons? Or are people just not coming? We need to look at these numbers and figure out why they are happening. Now, perhaps one of the reasons these are going down is our free tickets. As you can see here, we actually had a growth in our tickets between 2016 and 2017. However, in breaking it down further, we can see that there was a much greater increase in the amount of free tickets that we gave. Our free tickets increased by 116% compared to the 24% for free tickets. Now it's great to expose everyone to the arts and perhaps give tickets to people who can't afford to come to shows. But one thing we cannot happen is have our audience establish this mindset. Nah, I don't want to pay. I can usually get a ticket for free. Because what we'll find is if our patrons get used to taking free tickets, then when it comes to buying a ticket, they don't want to do it. They're not accustomed to it. They're used to getting their free ticket. So sometimes even having to pay for a ticket could be enough to get people to not come to our shows. Now, in addition to ticket buyers, we want to delve further into our donors, because these two are the people that are coming into our theater and investing their time, money, who knows what else, but to make our theater better, and they're committing to that. So if we look at our individual giving breakdown, we can see we have a wide range of growth across the board. Now, as you can see here, our number of individual donors have increased. And that's good. But one thing we need to keep in mind is that the more the merrier, but it's not just financially. By increasing these donors, we're also increasing the presence of people within our theater. So these are the people that will give their time and money and efforts to help us grow. And now, how important are these individual donors? Well, we can see on our contribution breakdown that our individual donors give about 12% of our annual revenue and 13% of our annual revenue in 2017. As I mentioned before, these people aren't here just to give money, but these are people who invest. These are the people who will be here and be spokespeople for the theater because they believe that by contributing financially to our organization, that it could grow to better both themselves and ourselves. Now, another KPI I want to look at is our student attendance and our school investment. Now, these people aren't donors. The students are probably not going to donate to the theater, but their parents might, or they might graduate to become potential donors. So it's important for us to look at all of our students and who are coming through our educational outreach. So let's take a look at a few of the facts between our educational programming. Between our 2016 fiscal year and our 2017 fiscal year, we had a 73% increase in programs offered in school, a 500% increase in hours of programming in schools, a 114% increase of the number of schools served, and a 200% increase in artists placed in school. So that seems fantastic. You could see we have a strong commitment to our educational programming. However, there are some downsides and some things we really need to take a look at. We also see a 38% decrease in field trip participants, 22% decrease in children served in schools, and a 33% decrease in field trips. So for me as a new executive director coming in, why is this happening? These are the questions I'm seeing. We seem to be increasing our investments, but we're having fewer student involvements. And there's a multitude of options as to why this happens. We might be moving to smaller schools. We might be moving into private schools that offer arts programming to fewer students. But if we're offering so much, particularly that 500% increase in hours, but getting less students, we need to make sure that what we're doing is worth our time. Are we engaging students who will yield a positive environment back to us? And is it we creating the right working relationship? Or are we increasing our hours but not getting the results we need? Now, this is, of course, something that we'll need to discuss with an education department to find out specifics. But for me, looking at the numbers on a page, it can almost be seen as a red flag that we need to monitor and track to ensure that we're on the right path for our future fiscal years. Now, our final KPI I want to talk about is about our volunteers and our volunteer retention rate. As I mentioned before, people are important to me. Getting people involved with the theater are important, especially our volunteers. So our volunteers make up a huge portion of our staff. You could see that reflected in this chart here, exactly how much more they make up compared to the rest of anyone else involved in our theater. And between our 2016 and 2017 fiscal year, we saw a 233% increase in our volunteer rate. Now, you may ask, why are volunteers important? How do they directly contribute to our programming that will result in successful finances and successful organizational growth? Well, that's because success starts from within. By having these high volunteers and being able to foster a strong working relationship with them, these will pave the path forward to have a successful organization. So now we're at the end. So what have we learned and where do we go? Looking back on all those KPIs we looked at, the revolutionist performance history, financials ups and downs the organization faces, where do we go? Well, we know we're in a good place financially, and we know that if our trends continue, we're on track for even further success. However, we need to get more patrons in the building, and we need to foster and grow the communal nature of Su Teatro through building relationship with volunteers and our individual donors. These are the steps that we need to take to be able to go forward and grow. And learning what steps to take will come from monitoring these KPIs to help us decide what we need to do. So I just want to thank Su Teatro for filling out their taxes and Data Arts for analyzing the taxes and all the other fun financials that Su Teatro has. So this brings us to the end. So I want to say thanks Su Teatro, ha ha ha, and thank you for coming to my presentation today.